Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of More Life with Jaina Dotwani
and Arya Shah. Our goal for this podcast is to open the minds of our generation to new career options, opportunities, and just to show the world that there is so much more to life.
Today we're with Mayor Barberio, the mayor of Parsippany, New Jersey.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? Good?
You're good.
Well, first, thank you for coming here
Of
to
course.
interview me.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So how are you today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. It's actually, it's a good day. Every day's a good day, as long as God gives us that day.
Just to jump right in, can you explain a little bit about what you do and your political position?
Sure. As the mayor of the township of Parsippany Hills, I run the day-to-day operation. And our form of government, which is the Faulkner E form of government, basically runs like the United States government. You have executive branch, judicial branch, and legislative branch. Mayor being the executive branch, council being the legislative branch, and we have our own courts here in town. So I run the day-to-day operations from every department, from parks and forestry, sewer, water, police. I'm also the police director of the township, but I have a chief who runs the day-to-day and runs the actual entire police department. That's just some of what I do, but there's a lot more that goes with that.
And what would you say is your favorite and least favorite thing about working in this political environment?
Well, the political environment's a little bit different than it was when I was your age.
Yeah.
Actually, I would say it was much better. Let's put it that way. When you had the party apparatus of Democrat and Republican, it wasn't as, volatile as it is now. When I was a kid, my best friend's a Democrat, I'm a Republican. And to this day, he's still my best friend.
Yeah.
We might have political differences, but it doesn't matter. We appreciate each other's opinions. It's not like that anymore. It's a little bit different now.
Yeah. I honestly agree. I feel like things have gotten a lot more serious, and of course politics is definitely a very serious topic, but I feel like people kind of forgot, their priorities kind of got mixed up in it,
Yeah, they do. Priorities do get mixed up. Sometimes, I've learned one thing about being mayor, and I tell everybody, a young kid that wants to run later on in life, I don't like to consider myself a politician, a community leader,
yeah.
But you have to learn to use a word, and that word is no sometimes. And if it's no, it's no. And you have to be truthful. You have to be honest about any policy, any procedure that you do. You can't say yes just to appease.
Yeah.
You have to be honest and truthful.
And I think that word no can just go such a long way for every single topic. I feel like it doesn't really just have to fit under the political topic and making other people happy. But honestly, in general, I feel like that word, you need to know, and you need to say no for yourself and for the benefits of other people as well.
Absolutely. I've said no, and I've been upfront with residents saying, no, we cannot do that, or we can do it. Because in the end, if you say you can do something, or you say yes, and actually the word was no, it comes back to haunt you.
Yeah. It's like putting all your eggs in one basket.
Absolutely.
You need to find your boundary, and I feel like that's definitely what separates a good leader from a great one, when you know how to respond to specific situations, knowing that people might not agree, but knowing that's what's best for the community.
Right. Well, I remember there's a quote from, I think, Abraham Lincoln that I take very seriously, because a lot of people say you're a very powerful man, being a mayor, a strong mayor. But you want to know, you know how you know when you're powerful?
How?
When you know when not to use it.
Yeah.
That's how you know.
So, what kind of can you start from the beginning of your childhood and how you got into being the mayor, your professional experiences and your education and all of that?
Sure. Well, I spoke at Lake Parsippany Elementary School a little while ago, and they asked me the same question. So here's how it all started. It started at Parsippany Hills High School when I was 16 years old. Now, I was always involved in the community as a young boy, playing sports, baseball, football, but it was more than that. We were always involved in my family around the table in politics. So I had a teacher named Stephen Marabbetti at Parsippany Hills High School, and everybody loved him. He was my history teacher. So we had a lot of discussions, him and I, and all the students. The neat thing about him, he was a deacon at St. Joseph's Roman Catholic Church. He was my history teacher, but he also was the mayor of Lincoln Park.
Oh, wow.
So what happened when I left high school, I said to him, Mr. Marabbetti, I have no clue who I'm marrying, but you're going to perform the ceremony. You're going to baptize my children, and you're going to bless my house, and I am going to be the mayor of Parsippany. I'm not going to be a deacon, I'm going to be the mayor. Well, he married my wife and I, he baptized my children, and he blessed my house, and I became the mayor in 2010. And he called me up, and he was excited. So that's really how it all started. And a lot of my friends realized that, you know what, you might be mayor of this town one day, but I love the fact that I got to live my childhood dream.
What kind of sparked your interest in like this leadership role and in this environment?
So what's that again now?
What kind of sparked your interest in like working in this environment?
Special interest, like you mean people that, or just my special interest?
Yeah, like how did you know that you wanted to be the mayor and get into politics?
Oh, because it just was in my blood. I mean, when I went to college, it was political science. Also minored in theology. But it was just something that I could feel. I wanted to serve the people. I wanted to serve the residents of Parsippany. That's all I wanted to do. Never wanted to go any higher. I didn't want to be at county level, state level, or federal level. I just wanted to be amongst the people because I felt, all politics begins at home.
Yeah, I feel like back to what you were saying about your teacher, I feel like teachers have such like an impact on students, and I feel like not a lot of them realize it. Like I've had so many great teachers. Like my 5th grade teacher, it was Mr. Lowe. He was so nice. Like
I know Mr. Lowe.
Yeah, he was telling me about it. Like he's like I remember him because I feel like he just had like such an impact on me, and I think that's like so special to have like a connection and bond like that.
Now, when I met Mr. Lowe at Littleton School this year, or was it last year sometime, I was very impressed with him.
Yeah.
He used me as an example too because they were doing some distance from the Earth to the Moon, and I was the Moon, so I had to go outside in the hallway. But I could see why everybody liked him. He has a great personality. He's a great teacher.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that, like, being here in Parsippany, like, the community kind of impacted, like, why you, like, your passion for it and, like, why you've stuck so long into it?
I was raised in a very typical Italian-American family. My mom was a very, very good woman. My dad was a great guy. But they were always like, never speak ill about somebody else, my mother especially. Never hold anybody back because, my grandparents came from Italy. And from a kid on, I grew up in the apartments down the road here, and it was a mixed of kids and, from different backgrounds. And that's how I grew up. I mean, at that time, we had Cuban Americans, Italian Americans, Irish, and a few Indian Americans in the community. We all got along well. So I was pretty much equipped to deal with most of the diversity that came into the town. And to be honest with you, I love the diversity because it's like, I tell everybody, if the world can see how Parsippany gets along, it'd be a better place.
I completely agree.
And I think that really shows like who like you are as a mayor, because even your background in your childhood, it definitely played a really big role in who you are today. And would you say like you're growing up, would you say how you grew up really affected who you are as a person today?
Oh, it definitely. My father was, he worked hard. He worked the midnight shift, but it was my mother. If it wasn't for my mother, I know I would not have been the mayor. When I was 9 years old, my brother at the time was 10 years old. He came down with a brain tumor.
Oh, wow.
And he passed away at the age of 10. I was 9. And I became the only son in the household. And my mother clinged on to me. But she didn't cling on to me like, well, I guess kind of was like the prince. I shouldn't say that. I was when I walked in the house. But she was very strict.
Yeah.
If I wasn't home by a certain time, she'd come out and look for me. She was a disciplinary type of a woman, but it kept me my feet planted. And if it wasn't for my mother, I don't know if I'd ever been the mayor, because I have my mother's personality.
That's so special. I feel like having such a strong bond with family definitely is something that can carry through like someone's whole life.
Oh, it does. It did my life. And to this day, I think about my mother daily.
Yeah.
What would she do? And I wasn't afraid to talk to my mother about anything in my life, from having girlfriends to relationships to hey, Mom, I think I did something wrong. And if I did something wrong, she told me, you did it wrong. That wasn't,
And it's so special, like, having those relationships. And you said that she was, like, would you say she was probably one of your biggest influences in, like, your entire life?
Both my parents. But my mom was the biggest only because she was constantly on me. And in a good way. Of course, when you're young, you think that, 16, 17, you know everything. And, she pretty much told me, you don't know everything. And she was right. You don't know. But at the same time, she wasn't, she was loving, caring, but she also knew it was time to be stern.
To kind of draw back a bit, the policies and like the things that you deeply focus on in Parsippany are definitely education and public works and just like having a deeper connection and listening to everyone in Parsippany. Like, was there something or someone who kind of influenced that?
Yeah, well, not really. I mean, mostly me being involved in the community from schools to whatever. It's something that just came to me that I wanted to do. I
Yeah.
wanted to be involved in the community. I wanted to be involved in the schools. Like, I try to go to as many school functions as I can. Why? There's one thing that never dies, and that's memories.
Yeah.
My memories at Parsippany Hills High School were phenomenal. And I love going to the football games for Parsippany High, for Parsippany Hills, the basketball games, both. I just like, and I love going to the plays. I love seeing. I love the fact that I can walk back into the school I graduated. I love going to Portrait Little League East, Little League West. And you get to watch everybody that, your kids, friends, your friends' kids grow up at the same time as I watch mine grow up
Yeah.
in the same community.
And it really goes to show how supportive you are for our entire town. And it's so clear that you've done so much in your life. And what would you say your definition of successful is?
Successful is waking up every day and loving what you do. That's what it is for me.
Yeah.
It's not money. Yeah, it's not any of those things. It's just the fact I get up. I thank God for giving me the opportunity. Now, you got to remember, I was mayor from 2010 to 17, and I lost
Yeah.
in 17. So I came back and won. And I say this a lot. Who gets to live their dream twice? I got to live it twice, and I thank God for that.
Was there ever a moment in your life where you thought like you never like had that feeling or like you weren't what you would call successful?
Yeah, there's times you get there. You're like, am I doing the right thing? And
Yeah.
as the mayor, I mean, is it, there's times you do have doubt, but you have to overcome those obstacles. You got to go right through them. You just, and like it's like building a foundation. Whatever obstacles, rocks get thrown at you, you just set them aside and you keep building the foundation. And that's how I looked at it. It's like I don't say the rose bush has thorns. The thorn bush has roses.
Yeah. It's definitely like a half glass full type of mindset.
And you say that you overcome some obstacles. Is there ever times you feel like you're not motivated or confident in yourself?
There's not time. I'm motivated a lot. I have a lot of energy, and I have a lot of confidence in myself. But there's times you say to yourself, am I doing the right thing? I mean, and then once your heart says you are, you are. And there's times it's not popular. Until later on, you realize, oh, wait a minute, I made the right decision.
Yeah.
Now, we had a project done in town called the Waterview Project. I knew in my heart the right thing to do was to put what's there now. If not, it could impact that area. Well, the residents were very mad at me, and that's probably one of the reasons why I didn't get elected. But now, seeing the landscape and what's going on with the affordable housing or high-density housing,
Yeah.
now they realize, I believe that, wow, he did do the right thing. So...
Do you ever feel stressed managing everything from like your home life to like thinking about different policies and like just other people's opinions? Like how do you kind of like let that out of your head when you make decisions?
Okay, that's a great question, actually. Let's hit the stress part first. Yes, in the very beginning, we had Hurricane Irene, and 300 and something homes were underwater in Lake Hiawatha. I was very stressed then.
Yeah.
I was new. I was only mayor for a year and a half, and I'm like, how can I do this? I went down to Sioux Ave. I went all the way down to the end. I got down on my knees. I said, God, please help me. I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. I got up, and I thought I was a different person. I went back down there, and everything just started working out the way I needed it to work out. That was very stressful because the reason it was stressful is because people were out of their homes.
Yeah.
And they lost their homes. 80 homes were underwater, and that was substantially damaged. That was something that was very stressful, but I learned from it. And everything that you know, and I've made mistakes. Don't get me wrong. And if I make a mistake, I accept it, and I say I made the mistake, and I apologize, and I move forward.
And I think that's like important to know, like mistakes are okay, and I think that's a really important topic for people in our generation and honestly every other generation to know that you don't need to be perfect to necessarily be successful, and I think that's really important for people to know.
Okay.
Yeah, and do you feel like fulfilled with your own career? Like with everything that you've done in your life, do you feel fulfilled in like your own career?
I do feel fulfilled. I feel like I'm doing the work of the people. I don't, and I thank them for allowing me to do it. And although some people don't agree with what I'm doing, most of the time they respect the fact that I'm doing what I'm doing because
Yeah.
hey, not everybody can get into the ring and think that not everybody wins, not everybody
Yeah.
gets a chance. So, and you just got to hope that the residents that follows through. But I do feel fulfilled for what I've been doing in my life.
Yeah, and like to kind of close this off, what is one piece of advice you would give to someone who is kind of looking for a role in leadership or honestly just to anyone in our generation?
Be honest, don't lie.
Yeah.
That is the most, and I mean that. To be a leader is to accept responsibility, and it's not that people follow you; it's that you follow them. True leaders, and I'll give you an example. I don't hire people in the sense I try to hire people smarter than me, and there's a reason for that. Because if you think you're the smartest person in the room, you're not. There's other people out there that might know better, might know. So you try to put people around you that can make you better, not you put people in your life that you think you can make them better.
Yeah.
And I learned that from reading books from the gentleman behind me, President Ronald Reagan. And I remember one thing he said. Sometimes in politics, it's better to get a half a loaf of bread than none, and that means you have to compromise. But yes, I'm fulfilled. I feel blessed, and I feel blessed that you ladies are here and interviewing me.
Thank you so much.
No
I mean,
problem.
I think that's something that everyone can relate to and that is definitely can be stuck with people as well.
Right.
And I think that was so great. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
thank you so much for your time. It
Oh,
was
no
lovely
problem.
having
Thank you.
you.
I
It
can
was a
tell you,
pleasure.
It was
Lady
a
J, some
pleasure.
great questions, man.
Thank
Thank you so
You followed up. You made me follow up. Good. That was great. I mean that.
Thank